exciting to be here. And I'm here to talk to you about my novel. Which, do you know the smug sense of self-satisfaction I have telling people now that I am a novelist? Yeah, I'm John Updike, that's right. So I think I got the question last year when the question was, what are you working on? Why did I write this novel now? This novel wasn't supposed to come out now. I had a memoir due, and I was supposed to be talking to you about the memoir that I spent all of last year working on, called Involuntary. And it was a memoir about me spending a year of my life volunteering, and it turns out that I would much rather write a check. So I spent an entire year of my life doing good work, never had the aha moment, like, oh, this is what I'm doing is good, and I thought, I don't really like this. And I didn't want to put out a book about, no one wants to read someone being snarky about charity. You know, I mean, charity's a good thing to do. So if you don't want to write a check, it's a good thing to do, but that's not going to be a book. It will be a chapter, but it's not going to be a book. Anyway, so when I was struggling to not write that stupid book, we had just moved into our new house in the suburbs, and this book just wanted to be written. And I think that you guys, obviously you are fans if you were here, you're going to have a lot of fun figuring out the Easter eggs in this book. I think that there's a very, very thin line between fiction and reality in this, and it'll be up to you guys to figure it out.
Title is If You Were Here. So if John Hughes were here, what would you say to him?
Honest to God, John Hughes is really the heart of this book, and I would say that I am not worthy to live in his town. And yes, we did buy a house in the town where he lived before he died. I mean, that was on purpose. Okay, there's a whole big John Hughes part of this book, and I'll tell you guys the backstory of this. When I originally proposed this book and decided to write this instead of the volunteering memoir, that whole part of the book, the whole John Hughes part wasn't in the book. And I was getting a lot of pushback from the sales team saying you can't write a story about two idiots buying a mansion in this economy. People aren't going to connect with it. But I thought it was so important that and they also didn't like my original title, which was Apocalypse House. It's genius. A journey into the heart of darkness of home renovation. It's genius. But I have to listen to the sales team. So I had been meaning to go to John Hughes' grave and pay my respects. So I cut all the best roses out of my backyard and tracked down his gravesite, and I gave him these flowers. And as I was sitting there, I swear to you, the idea of the direction to take this book in, and why I named it this, I don't want to give anything away, why I named it this, and including him in this book, all happened while I was sitting at his grave. And ever since then I haven't wanted to go back, because I'm like, oh, this is so creepy. Like, I felt like he communicated with me. I know. But honestly, he's the heart of it. And I mean, I grew up watching his films. I think so much of my sense of humor, comes from those movies. Like, so much of my lexicon, you're going to find so many tiny bits of his dialogue in this book. He was such an influence on Generation X that I can't not pay homage to him. Like, all the filmmakers of my era, he was it. And it wasn't until I started to write this book and he became a part of it, and I really started to research who he was and what he was about, that I fully realized his genius. So if he were here, I wish that he would read it, but I probably would be too polite to go up and talk to him.